Hi, and welcome back to The Band Beyond, where we talk about everything law, technology, and business. I am Ruth Mohawe, your host, and one of the questions I get asked the most, both by law students and by lawyers just into the profession, is when is the right time for me to pursue further studies? Now, I graduated in 2024 with a Master of Laws from Harvard University with a focus in technology and IP. Now, personally, I felt that my specialty required me to acquire more knowledge before I could be ready to serve the market. But I am aware that different lawyers have approached it differently, and it has worked out well for them. So for this episode, we take you around different lawyers in the firm, getting their view on when they pursued their further studies, what their journey was, their experience, and when, in their view, they believe would be the best time for a young lawyer, a law student, to pursue further studies.
I did my master's from the University of Queen Mary. I graduated in 2023.
I did an MBA from Makerere University.
So I studied in the UK after making what some would consider to be a difficult choice between either UK law or US law, or either UK or the USA or South Africa. So I studied in the UK.
I did my LLM at Queen Mary, University of London, one of the Russell Group universities, and sort of tier one London universities.
I was in Nottingham, the UK. That's where I did my master's from.
I did my master's from the University of London.
So I have done two postgraduate studies. One was in Nottingham Trent, but that was purely online. They had a fantastic opportunity where they do a postgraduate diploma but online, so you can still work and still study, which was in insolvency. That is 2015. That is a very long time after I had finished law school.
I went to the University of Cambridge in the United Kingdom in September 2002 and completed in June 2003.
Now I'm still going to pursue my postgraduate. I'm going to be reading law at Cambridge University, Gatton College, academic year 2025-2026.
I am pursuing a master's degree right now, and that is from Makerere University.
I did my master's from Cornell between 2016 and 2017.
Subsequently, for the time that I had spent in London, it gave me an idea, opened my horizons, and I then had to do the master's in 2003 as an external student from the University of London.
So the time I was finishing LDC, maybe about 2007, I had the idea or the desire to do my master's then. I applied to, I think, King's College, London, got an admission. Then came the big impediment, money. Where I come from, my father said, you want to study, you have to raise your money. So I was still struggling in that area. Obviously, you've just started your career. So I packed the education program, at least a master's program, for a bit.
I think I'd practiced for about 3 years. And it was interesting because I never envisaged myself doing an MBA at that point in my career. But I was practicing as a health rights advocate at the time, and I was interacting with people who were speaking about health policy issues, health economics. Ordinarily, I would have gone and gotten an LLM in maybe health rights or human rights. But the kind of people I was interacting with, policymakers, government officials, they were speaking economics languages. They're speaking policy languages. They're speaking public management. And I was not going to get that in a law class. I needed to get that from an economics class, a public management class. And that's why I went and did the MBA. Unfortunately, eventually I didn't need it because just before I finished the MBA, my career pivoted.
At the time I left, I'd practiced for 3 years. I went into the market, and over the course of 2-3 years, I gained what I felt was a wonderful understanding of the market structure. And the market structure, I felt that for a lawyer to practice, or for a lawyer to practice in the manner that I wanted to practice, a certain multi-dimensional skill was required. So when I took the master's after 3 years, I had a very clear idea of the range of subjects that I thought would be useful for this market. There was a massive difference in thinking between the poll of 3 months after LDC and then the poll of 2 to 3 years in the marketplace.
I was about 7 to 8 years in practice. I think 8 years in practice. That's when I ventured into doing my LLM. I waited it out because I wanted to first accumulate a little bit of knowledge and understand the marketplace. The areas for specialization were, and specific for me as a disputes lawyer, to understand where my value would be best applied. So I sort of wanted to work and understand that and get a sense of what clients need, what the practice needs, and to understand how to take things to the next level, including funding. And for me, I just didn't want to do an LLM anywhere. I wanted to be more targeted. What LLM, what subjects, and where was I going to do the LLM? That's what I was spending time thinking about.
It was a pretty much surreal experience for me. For me, I think it was a personal choice. I don't know, I just had this exposure actually when I was even still younger. So I always felt that I would not like to go into some kind of an academic arrangement. So I pretty much prefer to understand what I want, what my abilities are, and I felt that that I need to work fast before I actually do a master's.
It was online, so I started in 2019 and paced myself. I'd done 4 years of practice before I embarked on it. Yeah, but of course, even before this, I did research to ensure that it was the perfect one for me, considering my circumstances. I had a young family. I'd gotten married after law school. So I thought, if I have to go away, it might be a bit difficult for me. So I thought, let me do something that's flexible, that I can do at my own time and pace myself and be able to finish. Also because I was funding it personally. Yeah, that was one of the things that made me do it.
It was 8 years after. I really wanted to go immediately. I'd even applied to Australia. I wanted to do a master's in construction law. But I think along the way, you realize that your river is guided in a specific way. Some people are good enough to go out and get the course that they want, and then they come and practice that. My story is a little different. So then what informed my choice of study was what I was doing and the practice in law that I was engaging in on a daily basis.
I had applied to study a master's degree in the year 2000, immediately after LDC. I think immediately after LDC, then I got admission, but I never got funding. So my admission was deferred to the following year, and the following year I got funding. So the moment I got the money, then I had no reason to wait. Yes, so I should say that I probably would have gone immediately if I'd got the money. So what informed my decision to go then was the funder, the admission and the funding.
I felt that I had some time in private practice now, and I had an understanding of where I wanted to go. So because of my experiences and the kind of work that I do as a litigator, and my passion for litigation, but particularly things relating to employment, I thought that now I understood that this is where I wanted to go. That's the direction I needed to take. So, and when I formed my mind about that, I make that decision and say, well, you know what, now is the right time.
Very many, I'd say, reasons. Like everyone else, you get out of school and you're thinking, I want to do a master's, and you've probably gone through all these schools, looked through all the lists, I did look for a master's soon out of school. I got some offers, but not, I guess, stuff that I really wanted. A master's is very expensive, by the way. I'm sure you know that. You need thousands of dollars or pounds. So I did get some offers. Maybe I started looking 2 years into practice. Yeah, and said, okay, maybe it's time for me to do something else. And then I just got busy with life and family. Everything, doubled. Work became very busy. I still had a desire, that let me see what else I can do to improve myself, because I guess like all of us, you want to do something different all the time. And I think for about 2 years into searching, I did get some good offers, but not 100%, because I was looking for a full scholarship at that time. And in 2016, I got a full scholarship from Cornell. Yeah, and so I would say that it was the right time.
By the time I got married, my wife had done a master's in public health at the University of Florida. And I'm like, well, here I am with only one degree. So one of the things that actually influenced me was that I really needed to have an advanced degree. But I also believed that, adding on knowledge was not going to do me any sort of harm. If I could go about really some of the advantages of, say, going out further studies, there is also the advantage of getting to know people from other places, other jurisdictions. I mean, when I was in London, I got to know people from Kenya. There's a gentleman called Kibet. He practices in Kenya. We are still in contact. There are two ladies in Tanzania. One of them went to become a high court judge and subsequently a Court of Appeal judge. There's a judge in Nigeria now in the Court of Appeal called Yargata Nimpa. I mean, we've remained in touch, and once in a while, if I need something from Nairobi or from Tanzania, I mean, these are resources that I can actually contact. So there's also that aspect that you are able to get to know people from other areas. I mean, these are things you'd never know if you had actually remained here. These are contacts you'd never make if you had actually remained here.
I'm speaking from my own experience. I think someone needs to be tested, because I believe when you graduate and then LDC, postgraduate studies, at that stage, you probably well grounded in theory and concepts. So I believe working fast so that when you now go for your master's, you pretty much know what you want.
If someone has a scholarship, good. But I'm really of the view that first get into the grind, understand where your niche is, then master in that regard. As opposed to just saying, I want to be a corporate lawyer, and then to the US, you go and do a master's in corporate law, and then you come back and nothing makes sense.
I think that for me, when I just gotten into practice, so my background is primarily banking. If I had gone right after law school to do the master's, I probably would have done a general LLM, because I had opportunities from different universities that kept advertising. But I would sit and think, do I want to do one that has, for example, human rights? I'm not interested. So for me, it was I knew what I wanted at that point. Yeah, because of what the kind of work I had done. So I wanted to do something that was in line with that to enhance my knowledge.
So going to study early is good. Yes, of course. Even my justification for funding was that I'm young. Once I get these advanced skills, I would be able to apply them for a long time. I was not married. I didn't have the kind of responsibilities I have now. Of course, experience is relevant. I will give you examples of some of the most interesting subjects when we were in school for me was criminal law, sale of goods, and law of torts. Even though those were the most interesting subjects, when I came to the law firm here, there was no criminal law. But I realized also that they were not as lucrative as tax jobs. To that extent, experience can be a factor in determining what you do, because the subjects which most students focus on in the university, we don't apply them in practice.
I can't say that maybe I said, let me wait. I did start looking, but then eventually I got into practice experience and I liked it. I liked the busyness. So the master's kind of, shifted, but didn't go out of focus. I still kept it as something that I wanted to do.
You need to have a few things in place. Most of all, experience. You don't want to do a course that might be rendered redundant in the society that you're operating in. Maybe because the things you're studying then are too advanced for your market. Get your work experience. It then gives you some clarity on what you want to do.
As soon as you feel ready and necessary to do it. The one thing with Ugandans is that we study. Ugandans study. And wherever you find yourself anywhere, you can be sure that whoever you're competing with has a master's degree.
In an ideal situation, I would recommend that a lawyer spends a bit of time in the market. Getting into the market as much as possible will help to give you an understanding of what the market wants and how the market would respond to you.
I think that it's important to venture into the marketplace first, especially if you have defined your journey as a particular area or service that you want to offer, and you've defined the market. You need to be able to understand the market and understand where a particular LLM would add value. You need to understand the workplace to understand where you can add value and progress as well. So I tend to think that the best time to do an LLM is a period after doing some work.
I would think the best time to go and pursue further studies is to go immediately after LLB, when you have picked your interest. If you're not yet sure, then you can take like 2 years, like I've done, and then you go. But in the world, like I said, in the globalized world that we live in, you will no longer be practicing only land and transactions in Uganda. So you need to be updated, and that can be achieved through further education.
If you are the person that has not yet made that decision of which direction you want to take, then you want to continue working as you discover, because interests evolve with time. So you want to continue working, then discover where you want to go.
First of all, I think that the best time should be after one has worked for some given number of years. Because in the first place, it gives you a background. You've gone to law school, studied the theory, but you've also gone into the field. You have had a taste of the practice of law. So that kind of combination, to me, I think comes in handy when you go for an advanced degree. I always tell people that one of my course components, it was called compensation and the law. I was totally outspotted. And I always say I only managed to pass that course because of the practice that I had actually had. Honestly, if I had not been in practice, I'm not very sure I would have passed that course. So there's a sense in which what you have done in practice actually comes in handy when you have, when you decide to go for further studies. But I think there's also another sense of you have matured a little bit. I mean, studying outside is not easy. I mean, you're meeting people from other countries. In some of the cases, there could be issues of subtle racism. You need a certain sense of maturity because you're going into a different setting, you're meeting new people. So if you have matured, I think that comes in handy.
Okay, so different journeys, different experiences, and different opinions. I believe that the one takeaway from this is that there is no one perfect path, and everyone's postgraduate journey will depend largely on their situation or reality at the time. We hope that this offers guidance to the confused, comfort to those who are worried, and inspiration to those with ambition. Until next time.